Hey guys, Laura here from Performance Designs. And today we're going to be talking about removable deployment systems, or RDSs, and removable sliders. The PD Factory team have been using RDSs since the early 2000s in an effort to reduce drag and increase performance in canopy piloting competition. While not standard on most canopies, we have seen increased usage of removable sliders in the past few years. Before deciding to use a removable slider or a full RDS, it's important that you understand the pros, the cons, and the risks associated with it. This video will show you how to correctly assemble the slider during packing and safely remove it during canopy flight. Walk the lines like normal. Pick up your slider and ensure that it's in the correct orientation. Whether or not you're using a RDS lanyard, the two tabs that the lanyard attaches to should be facing away from you towards the tail of the canopy. Also, when you look at the slider, you should be able to read the warning label. Next, pull all four cables out of their housing cleanly and evenly. There should be no slack left in the line between the cables. Next, take your first slider ring and corresponding slider attachment webbing. Insert the webbing into the slot on the ring and fold it over until all three of the slider webbing loops align. Feed the cutaway cable through all three loops on the slider webbing. Ensure that it's pulled all the way through and that the stop on the cable is all the way against the edge of the sleeve. Then, take the excess cable and feed it through the sleeve on the opposite side of the ring. Follow the edge of the slider to the next attachment point. Ensure that none of the lines are entangled with each other or with any of the RDS rings. Attach the slider to the ring the same way you did last time, making sure that the cutaway cable is fed all the way through. When attaching the RDS to the rear line groups, it's important to ensure that the lanyard isn't wrapped around the cutaway cable or any of the line groups. Continue with this method until all four RDS rings are attached. Once you have finished with the assembly, be sure to check your work. To start, lift each ring individually to be sure that there's no entanglement with the corresponding line group. Next, check the cable routing at all four attachment points. Be sure that the cable is routed through all three tabs, that it is pulled all the way through, and that it is safely stowed on the opposite side of the ring. You should also be able to read the warning label of the slider as you look down at it. If you're using the full RDS, you should also double check to make sure that the slider lanyard is free from any entanglements with the cutaway cables or with the lines. For more information on packing a full RDS, see the instructional manual or performancedesigns.com. Now, let's take a look at how to safely remove your slider after deployment. Whether you're jumping a removable slider or a traditional channel slider, the first thing you should do after deployment is check for traffic, double check your altitude, and ensure that your canopy is flying in the correct direction. Reach up and grab the rear slider cutaway line and the front one in the same hand. Firmly pull them down and away from the slider. The slider should release immediately. If it doesn't, double check to make sure that the cutaway cables on all four attachment points have been fully pulled out of the webbing. If need be, give the slider a little shake to release it. Once the slider is fully released, make sure that you don't drop it, as this will make for a very expensive skydive. Stow the slider in a pocket or in your jumpsuit. Pull all four RDS rings below your control lines to make sure that there's no entanglements during canopy flight. If you have any questions about removable deployment systems or removable sliders, visit performancedesigns.com or feel free to give us a call. Stow the slider in a pocket, your pants. Insert the metal structure into the hawser fastening unit. Ensure that it is not a Wednesday and that you are wearing green pants. Next, insert hand into the lanyard fitting. Pull down. The slider should release immediately. Nah, I need to say that with more gusto. I just want to say the word slider stop, because that's like such a thing. Once you're under canopy, the first thing you should do is clear your airspace. Watch out for wingsuit flybys.